Traditional WAN connectivity options. To understand the ones of today, it helps to know where they started. This topic discusses WAN connectivity options from the beginning. When LANs appeared in the 1980s, organizations began to see the need to interconnect with other locations. And to do so, they needed their networks to connect to the local loop of a service provider. This was accomplished by using dedicated lines or by using switch services from a service provider. The figure shows, the diagram shows the traditional WAN connectivity. It's either, this is a dedicated with lease lines, like a T1 or E1 dedicated lease line, or T3 and E3. It can be a circuit switch like PSTN or ISDN, where this is a legacy circuit switch connection. This is the oldest technology. Or an ISDN or packet switch like frame relay and ATM connections. These are the traditional WAN connectivity options. Now, these are several WAN access connections options that enterprise edge can use to connect over the local loop to the service provider. These WAN access options differ in technology, bandwidth, and cost, of course. Each has a distinct advantages and disadvantages. Familiarity with this technology is an important part of network design. This is because these are the traditional WAN connections. Now, when permanent dedicated connections were required, a point-to-point link using a copper media was used to provide a pre-established WAN communications path from the customer premises to the provider network. The point-to-point lines could be leased from service provider and were called lease lines. And this term refers to the fact that the organization pays a monthly lease fee to a service provider to use the line. Lease lines have existed since the early 1950s, and for this reason are referred to by different names such as lease circuits, serial link, serial line, and point-to-point link. And T1/E1 or T3/E3 lines. Lease lines are available in different fixed capacities and are generally priced based on the bandwidth required and the distance between two connected points. And these are the two systems used to define the digital capacity of the copper media serial link. The T1 or the T carrier, and this is used in North America. T carrier provides T1 link supporting a bandwidth of up to 1.544 megabits per second, and the T3 link supporting bandwidth up to 43.7 megabit per second. This is the T carrier. And the other one is the E carrier. The E carrier, this is used in Europe. E carrier provides E1 links supporting bandwidth up to 2.048 Mbps, and the E3 link supporting bandwidth of 34.368 Mbps. So these are the two systems used to define the digital capacity of a copper media serial link. Note that the copper cable physical infrastructure has largely been replaced by optical fiber nowadays. And transmission rates in optical fiber networks are given in terms of optical carrier. So OC transmission rate. So we can see now that the fiber optics acronym now is, instead of T, they convert it into OC, which means optical carrier transmission rate, which defines the digital transmitting capacity of the fiber optic network. So some of the advantages and disadvantages of a lease lines are: the advantage of a lease line is simplicity. Point-to-point communication link requires minimal expertise to install and maintain, because that is point-to-point. That is one advantage, simplicity. The second advantage is quality. Point-to-point communication links usually offer high-quality service if they have adequate bandwidth. The dedicated capacity removes latency and jitter between the endpoints. That's why in a lease line, there's a quality. And another advantages is the availability, where the constant availability is essential for some applications, such as e-commerce. Point-to-point communication communication links provide a permanent dedicated capacity, which is required for voice over IP or video over IP. And of course, the disadvantage, if you are using a dedicated line or leased line, of course, the cost. The disadvantage is number one, cost. Cost, because point-to-point links are generally most expensive type of one access. The cost of lease lines resolutions become significant when they are used to connect many sites over increasing distances. In addition, each endpoint requires an interface on the router, which increases the equipment costs. And another disadvantage of a lease line is limited flexibility, because WAN traffic is often variable and lease lines have fixed capacity, so that the bandwidth of the line seldom matches the need exactly. Any change to the lease line generally requires a site visit by ISP personnel to adjust the capacity. So another is the circuit switch option. The circuit switch option is a connections that provides the public service provided by Public Service Telephone Network, or the PSTN carrier. The local loop connecting the CPE to the central office is copper media. And there are two traditional circuit switch options. The first one is the Public Service Telephone Network, or the PSTN. And the other one is Integrated Services Dial Network. Now, in the public telephone network, this is a dial-up one access that uses the PSTN as its one connection. Traditional local loops can transport binary computer data through the voice telephone network using voice band modem. This is the oldest technology. This is commonly known as the dial-up connection. The modem modulates the digital data into an analog signal at the source and demodulates the analog signal to digital data at the destination. The physical characteristic of the local loop and its connection to the PSTN limit the rate of the signal to less than 56 kbps. And dial-up access is considered a legacy one technology. So that is the public service telephone network. That is why this technology, the circuit switch options, is called legacy. And the other one under the circuit switch is the Integrated Services Digital Network, or ISDN. This is a circuit switching technology that enables the PSTN local loop to carry digital signals. So ISDN is a digital signal as compared to PSTN. This provided higher capacity switch connections than dial-up access. ISDN provides data rates from 45 kbps to 2.048 mbps. ISDN has declined greatly in popularity due to high-speed DSL and other broadband services that is coming out in the market. ISDN is considered a legacy technology, with most major providers disconnecting the service because of this very expensive. Okay, so another technology under the traditional is the packet switch option. The packet switch option is the packet switching segments data into packets that are routed over a shared network. A circuit switch network requires dedicated circuit to be established. In contrast, packet switching networks allows many pairs of nodes to communicate over the same channel. So there are two traditional legacy packet switch connection options. Under the packet switch, the first legacy packet switch connectivity is the frame relay. Frame relay is a simple layer 2 non-broadcast multi-access or NBMA. One technology that is used to interconnect enterprise LANs. A single router interface can be used to connect to multiple sites using different PVC or private virtual circuits to carry both voice and data traffic between source and destination and support data rates up to 4 Mbps, with some providers offering even higher rate. The frame relay creates PVS, PVC, which are uniquely identified by Data Link Connection Identifier or DLCI. The PVS, PVCs and DLCIs ensure bidirectional communication from one DTE device to another. Frame relay networks have been largely replaced by faster Metro Ethernet and Internet-based solution. So that's why this is also a legacy frame relay. Another is the asynchronous transfer mode or the ATM. The asynchronous transfer mode technology is capable of transferring voice, video, and data through private and public networks. It is built on a cell-based architecture rather than a frame-based architecture. ATM cells are always a fixed length of 53 bytes. The ATM cell contains 5-byte ATM header followed by 48 bytes of ATM payload. Small fixed length cells are well suited for carrying voice and video traffic because this traffic is intolerant of delay. Video and voice traffic do not have to wait for larger data packets to be transmitted. 53-byte ATM cell is less efficient than bigger frame and packets of frame relay. Typical ATM line needs almost 20% greater bandwidth than frame relay to carry the same volume of network layer data. And ATM networks have been largely replaced by faster Metro Ethernet and Internet-based solution as well. So this technology have been replaced by faster Metro Ethernet. So these are the legacy, or these are the traditional, the old technology that is being around in the market for the past decades. Or year 2000 started perhaps 1990. These are the traditional connections. Okay, so on the next video, I'm going to discuss the modern WAN technology.